Okay, welcome to California's Traditions, and today we're putting some tapaderas together, the stirrup covers, and we're making replica ones of a pattern that was really common in California in the Rancho period from early 1800s to mid 1800s, and and they were kind of distinctive because they were round, and rather than bending around the stirrup like the tapaderas we're mostly familiar with, they were like a round shield, and so they were pretty distinctive and really characteristic of the Californians for that time period. Mm. So, they were made out of three pieces. The largest diameter one, and usually do a scallop side, ornamental edge, and then over the top of that will be a smaller round piece, and then on top of that will be this triangular piece, and so we're using a tooling pattern. It's a repeating diamond, which was a very popular motif during that period, and also have kind of a lacy, fairly wide margin around too, which is really characteristic. Some various versions of that form, and which were very characteristic motifs of the colonial and rancho period. And so the tools we're using are, just first of all, of course, the dividers to mark everything out, and then the cutters for cutting the scalloped edges. A little smaller cutter for this top piece here, and a little bit bigger cutter for around there. And then talking about this repeating diamond period, this is the tool that I used for this, and so that's just made out of a piece of horseshoe that I forged down, and then then filed and chiseled to get that X pattern. So when you put it together, it gives you a repeating diamond shape. And then there's that punch here, which gives you this pattern here, and then this just carved out of a scrap piece of a 4x4 iron. And then we have the double liner that come around to give us this pattern there, and then this was just another tool to kind of reinforce things and put in a single line and kind of clean things up a little bit. There's a mount here somewhere. Just used it to chop out those. Oh, there it is. Okay, the tooling here, I've already marked out my double line, and so now I'm Might have to go back over some of it, but this is, if I remember which side of the tool I'm using, so if I have to go back over it, I'll know what side to put towards me, because if I turn around and do it this way, it's not going to fit, because I didn't get this exactly carved in there. And then I'll go along on the inside there too, and and then I'll have to follow it up with my double liner to even it out. And then sometimes I'll use this if I want to emphasize the border. And this particular piece that I put the tooling on, I'll tool the smooth side out, but then I like to do a contrast between the rough out and the smooth side, and so I'll usually put the biggest disc rough out, and then put the triangular piece and it rough out on the top, so that way I have contrasting textures, just for aesthetic reasons. But here I'm still need to carve out my top triangular piece. Got a line there somewhere, but it's getting a little bit dark here to see. But anyway, when I get my knife, I'll just cut that along there, and then we'll need to attach the pieces together, and we do that by cutting out a leather thong, and then and then stitching it together with a leather thong, and so anyway, that's a whole nother story, and we'll get into that next time, and so to be continued.